Hello, my name is Justin Hodgson. I'm from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Just would like to tell you a bit about myself, share my story. I'm just sitting in my car right now, waiting for my daughter. She's in ballerina. I guess I'll start from when I was a young child, because that's when a lot of my trauma started. My step-parent, my mom and my stepfather used to hit me around. There's a lot of abuse, physically, and my stepdad was very emotionally abusive. Used to call us down quite a bit. I don't really remember much of that, but my mother told me about it. I asked her why. I can't remember a lot of my childhood, and that's the story I got from her. Going on into my teens, I started drinking when I was maybe 10 years old. You'll have to excuse me a little bit. I got a little bit of a cold. Didn't get drunk until I was about 12. That was the first time I experienced getting drunk, and I loved it. It was amazing. I was a very shy kid, so when I got drunk, it made me feel like I could be somebody that I didn't know how to be when I was sober. And then 13, I experienced smoking marijuana, and it was amazing too. I loved it. Took all the feelings away, made me feel good. Later on that year, I got hooked on sniffing gas. It was that was a very, very weird experience. I was gone a lot, not really around. I was in another world all the time. It wasn't scary. Hallucinated a lot. It wasn't a very good experience. Anyways, I'll move forward a little bit. 13, 14, closer to 14, I ended up moving in with my mother again and my stepfather. But this was a different man she was seeing, and it was good this time around. And at 15, when I moved out to Alberta with them, I started drinking heavily when I was out there, even more than I was when I was living in Saskatchewan. And at the age of 15, I found meth and started smoking meth a lot. We used it a lot, partying. We partied every weekend. We drank all the time, smoked weed all the time. We were always high or drunk on something when we were kids. Age of 16, I think I was one of my very first serious suicide attempts. I had many failed suicide attempts, but that was one of the closest ones that I almost succeeded on. I remember hanging from an extension cord when I was drunk in my grandparents' shed, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember reaching for stuff with my feet, and I finally caught something. There was two stacks of logs, chopped wood on each side of the shed, and I caught my feet on those. And I managed to get out of it. I had some burn on my neck from the extension cord. It was very light, like a light burn, but I managed to get out of that one, and it scared the shit out of me. So yeah, there was a lot of pain growing up that I didn't realize that was there. A lot of pain from feeling abandoned, from not really feeling love from my parents, or like they didn't want me. And so I drank heavily, and I didn't realize that that's why I drank. I thought all those years that I did drugs and alcohol, I thought I was doing it for fun, until I actually sobered up and got some help. Let's see, at the age of 18 is when I started using IV. I started injecting crystal meth and cocaine, and at that point I was getting high on anything I could get my hands on: ecstasy, meth, or ketamine, whatever was out there. And there was lots of days I don't remember. Lots of times I went on binges. I was drunk for whole summers, high for 3-4 months at a time on crystal meth. There wasn't many days where I was sober until I was about 26, I think, was when I went to treatment. Another suicide attempt at 18. That's when my son was born. I lost my son because I was drinking and doing too much drugs. They left me. and I don't blame them. That's one of the things I only regret growing up, was not being more there for my son and not being able to see him. But so that was another failed suicide attempt. The rope broke on me when I kicked the stool out from underneath me in my buddy's garage, and that was the time I broke down and started crying the most. It scared me the most because I didn't want to die. I was in so much pain. I didn't want to feel the pain, but I didn't want to die. So I promised myself that day that I would never try to do that again. And when I got to the end of my drinking and using days, the drugs and alcohol, they didn't work. They didn't numb that feeling anymore. And you can imagine when you use something to numb a feeling, towards the end, it doesn't, when it's not working, when it's not doing what it wants, what you want it to do, what's there left to do? Your mind starts thinking about suicide, right? So that promise I made to myself, I kept. I never tried, and I never wanted to ever try suicide again. It's been in my mind. It comes and goes still, even to this day after being sober for 11 years. But I had another child around that time, 26, and I didn't want to lose her either. So, and I wanted to be there for her. So, and I didn't want her to see me in that condition that I was in. So she was the reason why I sobered up. She was the reason why I got help. And it was a very hard couple years when I first sobered up. I was very angry because I didn't want to do it. A lot of anger towards myself, towards the world, towards everyone around me, because I hated it. It's not what I wanted. I went to meetings though. They helped a lot. When I actually participated in them, they helped me take my anger away. I started training, going to the gym. It helped me get rid of a lot of anger. Talking to people, I have one or two people that are really close to me that I talk to still today. What else can I share with you guys? Kind of coming to the end here. Even being sober for 11 years, I still struggle with a lot of mental issues. I still think about suicide sometimes. I still struggle in relationships because of abandonment issues. I still struggle with a lot of things, being a good father, because I'm not around a lot to my children. I'm gone for work a lot. But keep working. You keep pushing towards that. I'm very stubborn when I learn. I don't listen to people. I have to learn the hard way. So when I'm in a lot of pain, that's when I learn. That's how I learn, is by feeling and getting into these pain where to the points where I'm in a fetal position, crying to myself and begging the Creator for help, God for help. I don't know where else to go from here. That was basically the gist of my story, like a short version. There's a few. Sound wild, but 11 years, no hard drugs, no alcohol. Really paying attention to the way I feel and how I'm doing in the moments helps me catch myself from falling back into depression and to dealing with these anxiety feelings that happens. Working on yourself daily, working on myself daily, is something that I need to do. Otherwise I fall back into that. Help say prayers in the morning for me, for myself, for my family. It's something that needs to be done. I'm kind of losing my train of thought again. This is my second video, and for some reason at the end, I don't know if it's the emotions maybe from talking about all this, my mind kind of goes blank, but the working on myself daily for myself helps to happen for me. If I miss a couple days in a row, then I start falling back into the depression for myself. I listen to a lot of self-help books too on Audible. That helps me really understand a lot of things with my mind, because I can't control. One thing I really need to work on is controlling my thoughts. My thoughts control me more than, or they used to control me more than I could control them. I used to listen to my thoughts all the time, and it's a very bad thing for me, for an addict to do. But the self-help books really helped me. Reading a lot, asking people for help that are in the program, talking to my sponsor, my mentor, he helps me a lot. These are some things that I do, and I practice daily prayer, meditate. I try to meditate, but I can't. I still have trouble doing that. And the gym really helps me too, deal with a lot of anger. Makes me tired, so I don't feel that anger, because I try to train hard. But that's really the gist of my life and what I'm doing now to try and keep my life that way and keep it good. But thank you for listening, and hope you guys have a good day.